Germany was defeated in a genocide called World War I, whose bungled aftermath led to World War II. See the short video link below. A primary American goal of World War II was to destroy Germany. It was not simply to defeat its military and replace its government. German industry threatened the British and American empires with greater innovation and technology. By 1944, the extermination of the German race was openly discussed and attempted through a massive bombing campaign. The goal was not to just destroy German industry, but to destroy German cities and kill German civilians. See the short video link below. However, the end of World War II resulted in a standoff with the Soviet Union. The practical solution was to rebuild and rearm West Germany to deter a Soviet invasion, but secretly keep that nation under American rule. This was officially enshrined in the United Nations Charter. The enemy state clauses is a term used to refer to Article 107 and parts of Article 53, which are exceptions to the general prohibition on the use of force in relation to countries that were part of the Axis. Under Article 107, the original United Nations members from World War II are allowed to take enforcement action against any state that had been an enemy, while Article 53 states that the renewal of aggressive action against a former enemy state does not require UN Security Council approval. In summary, the U.S. military can legally conduct operations against Germany and Japan whenever it chooses. These nations have advocated for the deletion of these clauses for decades, but are ignored by the UN. After World War II, Germany remained occupied by 1 million foreign troops during the Cold War. After that ended in 1990, the Russians returned home and the Warsaw Pact alliance disbanded. There was no threat to the West, and NATO troops returned home, except the Americans, who insisted on keeping several large bases in Germany. Billions of dollars were spent on new facilities, to include a massive spy center at the newly expanded Wiesbaden base. There are no combat units at this base. That includes 3,400 American troops, 3,400 American civilian employees, and 1,100 German employees whose primary mission is to spy on all Europeans. Germany is a crowded nation, and polls show that most Germans want American occupiers to leave to free vast tracts of land for use by Germans. Udo Ulfkott was a German whistleblower who quit his prestigious newspaper reporter job in 2003 after announcing that all German journalists, including himself, gave their newspapers CIA propaganda to publish as fact. They were paid or blackmailed by the CIA and other Western intelligence agencies. He blew the whistle when it became apparent this disinformation would lead to a war between Russia and NATO.
I've been a journalist for about 25 years, and I was educated to lie, to betray, and not to tell the truth to the public. But seeing right now, within the last months, how far how the German and American media tries to bring war to the people in Europe, to bring war to Russia. This is a point of no return, and I'm going to stand up and say it is not right what I have done in the past, to manipulate people, to make propaganda against Russia, and it is not right what my colleagues do and have done in the past, because they are bribed to betray the people, not only in Germany, all over Europe. The reason writing this book was that I am very fearful of a new war in Europe, and I don't like to have this situation again, because war is never coming from itself. There is always people behind it to push for war. And this is not only politicians, this is journalists too. And I just have written in the book how we have betrayed in the past our readers just to push for war. And because I don't want this anymore. I'm fed up with this propaganda. We live in a banana republic and not in a democratic country where we have...
Olfcott wrote several truthful books about his experiences as a journalist and was branded a conspiracy theorist. He noted the vast majority of Germans oppose war with Russia and know that mass immigration was slowly destroying his nation. He was branded a racist, Russian agent, and died of a heart attack at age 56. You do not have to look very hard to find historical information revealing that the CIA has been spying inside Germany for more than 60 years. CIA agents have even been arrested and expelled by German authorities, including a number who were caught in the 1990s. These incidents, which received little attention in the United States, were covered extensively in Germany and enraged the German public, yet no action was taken. Thanks to information leaked by Edward Snowden, we now know that America's eavesdropping behemoth, the NSA, had been tapping the cell phone calls of German Chancellor Angela Merkel and her predecessors.
Parliament's closed-door meeting on the shadowy world of intelligence matters on Thursday weighed the latest evidence of American spying. After private talks, though, a very clear public announcement.
Die Bundesregierung hat den Repräsentanten.
The federal government has asked the U.S. Intelligence Service's representative here in Germany to leave the country in reaction to a continuous lack of cooperation regarding the investigations into various accusations, starting with the NSA up to the latest issues.
The German public was enraged to discover last October that the Chancellor's own cell phone had been tapped by the NSA, or National Security Agency. Germany then pushed hard for better information sharing and a promise that Americans would end their spying here. Months of efforts failed.
CIA operations included the covert funding of a number of German anti-communist labor groups and political parties, and spying on German opposition political parties. Several CIA officers were arrested during past decades when caught bribing German government officials for secret information. In 2017, WikiLeaks released classified documents about a large CIA hacking team that developed Trojans and other malicious software to infiltrate European computer systems while working from the American consulate in Frankfurt. It's the largest U.S. consulate in the world where CIA hackers with diplomatic passports operate. See the article linked below. Events in 2022 confirmed that Germany remains an American colony. At a February 2022 news conference, American President Joe Biden commented that if Russian troops crossed into Ukraine, the German-Russian-built Nord Stream natural gas pipelines would close down. A reporter noted this would be a decision for Germany to make, but Biden just grinned and said it would happen.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Other pipelines to Germany were shut down due to sanctions that did not permit EU members to pay for Russian products. German industry began to shut down due to a lack of fuel, and Germans feared homes could not be heated during the coming winter. The Americans worried that pressure from German voters might force the German government to compromise with Russia to reopen gas pipelines. So the Nord Stream pipelines were blown up in an act of economic terrorism. Exactly which NATO nation did this dirty deed is unknown, but would not have done so without the approval of the United States. Sweden launched an investigation and announced that it determined who blew up the pipeline, but refused to share the result with the world, citing national security. The obvious culprit was exposed by U.S. State Department's lead warmonger, Victoria Nuland.
With regard to Nord Stream 2, we continue to have very strong and clear conversations with our German allies, and I want to be clear with you today. if Russia invades Ukraine, one way or another, Nord Stream 2 will not move forward.
As a result, once prosperous Germany was hit with massive inflation and job losses. The American government dismissed Germany's destruction and said Germans could buy liquefied natural gas from the United States, even though it cost 5 times more than Russian gas, and ramping up this production would take years. This will generate large profits for American energy corporations and also American industry. Germany was producing superior goods for world markets, but most were forced to shut down due to high energy costs. As Professor Michael Hudson explains in the article linked below, this is the 3rd time in a century the United States defeated Germany. The innovative and productive German industry was shut down in 1919, 1945, and 2022. If Germany truly had a democracy, the government would make a deal with Russia to save itself. But German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock publicly stated that she would obey the wishes of the American government and continue to support Russian sanctions, quote, no matter what German voters think.
But if I give the promise to people in Ukraine, we stand with you as long as you need us, then I want to deliver, no matter what my German voters think, but I want to deliver to the people of Ukraine. And this is why, for me, it's important to be always very frank and clear.
Well, Germany is still a kind of a colony of the United States. You see that in many points, like the majority of the Germans don't want to have nukes in our country, but we still have American nukes. So we are still a kind of a colony of the Americans.